Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I've been sick for a couple days. I was planning on trying to get the third part in the air system series done today, but with me being sick, I wasn't able to do as much as I wanted to, and I also needed to kind of rethink some things. The area that I wanted to put the spare air tank in is only about 3.5 inches deep, and the air tank itself is about 6 inches deep. So I had to rethink some things there, order some more parts, kind of waiting for that to come in. But in the meantime, we have plenty to do. So I have some stuff here that I've been waiting to install, and all kind of leading up to that. So we have a new 60 amp relay to go back by the air system. The relay that's in there is 50 amps, and I've been having issues with it overheating and tripping. So while I'm in there, I am going to test the old one and make sure that I am not overdoing the relay. In conjunction with that, the gauge that's attached to it is needle style, and it bounces a lot. So I'm hoping to put a digital one in and get that a lot more accurate. We have some valve stem caps here, and these actually have little leashes on them. So when you unscrew your valve caps, they stay with the stem and hopefully don't lose them, because if you guys are anything like me, I lose these things constantly. So hopefully this will remedy that. And a power solenoid. So the solenoid is going to be part of the part 3 of the air system. But if I can get the wiring and stuff done, that's part of the reason I need the relay to function properly, is because I need, there's something else in the back that's getting power on its own right now. I need that wire to go to the old relay system so that I can use that power lead for the new solenoid. So, and then we have some LED headlights that we're going to try out. I have a mount for my propane tank and the self-igniters for the small propane fire pit. I apologize about the background noise. One of my neighbors is blowing leaves. I'm sure it'll be very noticeable in the video. So I'm hoping today that we can get the relay swapped out, the wiring switched over, and the solenoid at least mounted. And then depending on if I need to go get extra parts for the gauge, we might be able to get that done, as well as obviously the valve stem caps we can do, you know, right now. That'll be easy. So why don't we start with that? So we'll do this in real time. It's literally this easy. Unscrew your old one, take the new one, make sure it's going to bend the correct way, slide it down over the threads. Again, you're going to have to work it a little bit because they're meant to be tight. And then screw the cap back on. That easy. I'll do the other 3. Something to make note of as I was installing these, I realized that these caps are actually, they appear to be like aluminum. They're not plastic like the factory ones are. And there is an O-ring down in the bottom of them to kind of keep things sealed, which is awesome. So I'll take the old caps. Obviously I still have the 4th one to do, but I'll take the old caps and I'll put them in my kit here with you know, other caps and valve stems and everything, and that I keep in the truck. So finish this up real quick. There we are, valve caps done. Now when you unscrew them to air down or air back up, you can simply let them go and they will hang out right there. No more lost valve caps. So I'll leave a link below to Amazon where I got those. I believe they were, I don't know, 10 or 11 bucks, but well worth it. All right, next up we are going to do this relay that sits down in here. And then hopefully the solenoid as well as the gauge. So I'm going to tear all this apart, take this paneling out, take this paneling out, get down to all the wiring, and basically start fresh again with it, and then try and build it back up the way that I should have done it the first time. So you guys have seen me tear this apart that many times, so it's apart now. And just like that, we're apart. So what my goal is, first I have to switch out this relay with the new one, and then this is the wire that I originally had running to the compressor that was not heavy gauge enough. And so all this wire powers right now is this little bitty LED. As you can see, I already disconnected the power on the back. So I need to run a jumper from this power wire in the back and bring it over to the new relay, and then this wire can be ran to our solenoid. So I'm going to get that swapped out, and then this whole layout of this valve has kind of bothered me with it being so kind of condensed and clustered. See if I can get you some more light here. So it's kind of condensed, it's kind of clustered, and this is the valve that I use to refill the tires. This is the one that I use to dump the air down when I air down. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch. So this is the valve that goes down to the front tires, the line that goes down to the front tires, and this one back here is the one that goes out to the rear tires. You can see I disconnected it here. So I'm going to reconfigure this whole valving system, try and get the new gauge in, get rid of this old gauge. I'm going to try and put the refill valve over here for front and rear, and then that way this compressor line that comes in isn't going to be at such a weird angle. It can just come from here straight over to the compressor, and then I'll have all of the other lines basically coming out of the back. Hopefully that will work and I won't have to do anything else, but if I do, I will let you know. Something to make a mention of: if you're going to put any lights like this in that run off of the door switch here, is that you want to connect the negative side of that wire to the switch and then provide the LED with its own power. So that's how it actually breaks the circuit when the door is closed. Grounds it out when the door is closed and kills the power. So you want to run it off the ground wire, not the power wire. So something to make note of. But we got the new relay in. We've got our power wire ran. I still need to put an end on it here, and we're ready to connect that. We've got our other power wire for our solenoid brought back around here, and now we got to figure out where and how to mount the solenoid. Got the new gauge in, got my manifold redone. So let's see if I can explain this a little better now. This line in from the compressor, I move the valve to the front so it's more easily reachable. Now we have the line comes here, this tees off and goes out to both rear. The other side will plug in right here at the top. And then we've got the gauge. We've got the gauge on this one, and then this line comes up and it goes out to the dump valve, but it doesn't just go straight here anymore. It now comes over to the solenoid that is wired in on my switch panel. And what that does, let me show you. So now when I go to air down, I connect all 4 tires, I come back over here and I hit this button, and you can hear the actuator pop and it opens that valve back there to let the air out. When it all's back together, this is what it looks like. We've got the air line for this wheel, got the compressor line all hooked up and plumbed in, Everything's here, everything's accessible, power cord's easily accessible, my relay's still there, everything's nice, neat, tight, put away, and then I can just simply close the seat and everything stores away nicely. And then when the door closes, the light back there goes off, and I have the whole back seat of my truck back. So, not too bad. We didn't get to the headlights tonight, but we definitely will probably tomorrow, along with a few other things. So it's late, it's like 10 o'clock. I'm gonna get cleaned up and put all my tools away and call it a night. It is the next day, so let's take a look and see that this actually works and how it works. So let's check it out. So I'm only going to test one wheel for right now, and then as long as everything works properly, I'll go ahead and do a full test on all four wheels and see how long it takes to actually air down, and then we'll check the air back up and all that together. So let's see. Right now we are at 43.2 psi. So the only downfall to this system as it sits right now is that it needs the key on in order to function. That is going to be remedied when I get my second switch controller. So let's see. So it appears that currently while it's going down, it is registering at 0. Let's stop it and see if it will register the new pressure. So it's down, it's down at 36, so not terrible. I mean, it's a good rate, but as you can see, just hit the button. Pretty cool. I think we'll air that one back up and then do a full test on all four. Alright, so in order to make this a fair assessment, I am going to start with everything closed up just like if you just pulled up to the trailhead. So the seat's put away, the hood's closed, I'm literally sitting in my truck with the door closed. So I'm going to start the timer, and then I will go ahead and start putting all the air lines and everything on, and then go from there. So there we have it, 6 minutes and 37 seconds to air down completely from getting out of the vehicle, connecting all the lines and everything like that. Now that time will probably go down by at least a minute. As I was airing down, the gauge was registering pressure, and I was stopping it periodically to see what the pressure was, and the pressure on the gauge as it was airing down was not matching the actual tire pressure. So I ended up having to take it down to 11 psi according to the gauge as it was releasing the air, but once I would stop it, it finally climbed back up and it went to 18. I checked it with a gauge afterwards, boards, and it was up at 19. So about a 1 psi difference. I'm perfectly fine with that. So not terrible. You know, if you can spend 5 minutes airing down and have that 5 minutes to go around and check everything else because you're basically just standing there waiting. So kind of a neat little setup. Now we will wait for dark and get the headlights put in. Alright, so it is almost dark. I went ahead and put one headlight in so you could see the difference. I'm sure you can tell, but the one on the right over there is the aftermarket one. That is the factory halogen. My truck is the base model SR, so it just comes with the kind of yellowish headlights. So that's what the stock one looks like. And that's what the aftermarket one looks like. You can't really tell in the video, but it actually kind of matches the fog light now instead of being different. So let's get the hood opened up and I'll show you how to change out the other one real quick. Alright, in this box you get a pair of gloves. Definitely want to use them. You don't want to touch your fingers on any of the stuff. The oils in your fingers can mess up the bulbs. And then you get two bulbs. You can see I already swapped out the one. So here is the other one. And I'm going to go ahead and hang on to my factory bulbs just in case there's any issues. Alright, so it's this one over here at the very end that is the low beam. That's the one that we're changing out. So it's pretty simple. Squeeze a little plug, give it a little wiggle, plug will come right off. These give a quarter turn and then they pull out. Pay attention to the way that they're indexed. You can see that there's 3 different sizes of blades on there. That's how it locks in. The aftermarket ones will have the same, and that'll make it a lot easier to index. So we can see we've got the biggest, kind of medium, smaller on these two. So I'll set this one to the side, grab the aftermarket one here, and then we can see we've got the bigger and then the kind of 2 medium ones. So I'm going to install it the same way. Just slide it in, line up the holes, and you may have to twist it a little bit to get it to line up. Alright, and then once it's in, just go ahead and reconnect your plug. And then they do come with some double-sided sticky tape. You could, sticky tape this up there or whatever. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to tuck it down here amongst the other wires, and it should be just fine. It's not going to rattle around. It'll just sit right there. There you go. That's it. That's going to be all for this video. We've got the new headlights in, and got all the air system done, got the new relay in. I keep calling it a relay. It's actually a circuit breaker, so apologize for that, but it's in. Got everything else rewired up, so we'll be ready for the next adventure. Thanks for watching.